doesn't end when it's supposed to end, just go up there and exit everything. No, you'll go to camera number 1 whenever you're ready. You're going to go to the. Okay. You'll not go back to anything else except camera 1 and 2.
There we go.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Carolina Outdoor Magazine TV Live. We have a very special show here tonight for you. We usually do a lot of hunting and fishing webinars, and tonight we're going to be mixing it up a little bit. I have a very good friend of mine and teacher from the Leadership Academy, Matt Rudisell, and he teaches a lot of social media. And you might be asking yourself, well, wait a minute, you're supposed to be teaching hunting and fishing. Well, we're going to be doing that, guys, but what we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk to Matt a little bit and ask him some of the ways you can have a better YouTube channel or a better Facebook channel or something like that with the use of social media. Now, I know as far as myself, social media, when we first started our TV show 15 years ago, you didn't have social media. There was no Facebook or anything like that. But now it's really neat because we have a lot of followers out there. Some guys that are even watching the show tonight that we follow on Facebook. And one way they know when we put new shows up on YouTube is they go to Facebook or Instagram or Twitter and they follow us, and they're able to see when we have our new show. So that's what Matt's going to do tonight. I'm going to ask him some questions, and you guys, please ask Matt some questions. If you want to learn a little bit about social media, if you want to learn about your business and how to improve your business in social media, trust me, folks, he can answer these questions because I've taken a lot of this man's classes, and he's very informative when it comes to teaching you how to effectively use social media. So, Matt, I'd like to welcome you to the show this evening, and it's a pleasure.
Well, thanks, Jim.
Great having you.
Good
finally.
To be here.
Now, Matt, you're my guest instead of me being
right.
your guest, okay? But I guess what I'd like to ask you first is if you just talk to the people a little bit and ask and explain to them how did you become a teacher for social media? What made you want to teach social media? How did you get this far?
Okay. Well, as Jim said, I do teach, and I've been teaching now for a long time. This is my 19th year. I started back in 1997 teaching just a few classes on business planning and goal setting. And it wasn't until probably 2007, 2008 that I started, along with a partner of mine, teaching some social media seminars. And these seminars were basic at the beginning. We were telling people that you need to look into this. This is something that you need to pay attention to because it probably is going to be pretty big.
Right.
So fast forward now to 2016, and you see the impact that social media has on
something
the
that you didn't know was really going to take hold. If you could have seen the future, how big Facebook has grown. Facebook now has what, 80 billion people that sign on and off? Okay, so give me the numbers, Matt.
That's probably a little bit big. 1.6 billion total users.
Okay.
Of those 1.6 billion, a little over 1 billion log in every day.
Wow.
And Facebook says that they each go on about 4 times a day, and they stay on for a total of 15 minutes each time. So if you do the math on that, take 1 billion divided by 24, that number you get is how many people are on Facebook at any given second
time
of the day. Yeah, so that's a huge amount of customers that you can reach.
Now, when I first started going to Matt's classes a few years ago, I don't know how long it's been now. I go to every year I go to his classes because there's always something new. I mean, you never get bored because every year that I'm learning something new all the time. Now, when we first started in television, like I said, there was no Facebook, no Twitter, anything like that. You had CompuServe and you had Prodigy and ones like that, which actually were the first social media sites in a way. But, we started to do Facebook and we just wasn't getting many responses off of it. I didn't really know what I was doing. I mean, I thought Facebook was a thing for you to do for friends, and it is. But we found Matt's classes and decided to go to his classes, and I found out that by following certain steps, I could get more folks out there to look at our YouTube channel. And, just by posting certain things and getting people to follow Carolina Outdoor Magazine on Facebook, I was able to get them to follow us on YouTube and get more subscribers, more likes, and more followers. So Facebook and the internet and social media has opened up a whole new avenue of things in the outdoor industry for us to do.
Well, let's just think about that for a second. You've got traditional methods that you've been advertising your business with for years. It could be
newspaper,
radio, television, radio, things like that. Social media is just that word of mouth on steroids.
Right.
I mean, it's a huge increase of people, and people generate cash, because if you don't have people looking at your business, if you don't have those eyeballs, then you're not going to get any additional business. People have to know you're there, and that's the great thing about Facebook. It's got so many people that use it. Some use it just for the friendships, like you said. Some use it just to find out what's going on in their neighborhood or with their friends or their enemies or whatever it could be. But it's a great marketing tool for your business because eyeballs equal cash. And that's what it all comes down to. Now, Facebook is primarily the number one spot to be on. There's a lot of other places out there that you need to send your business, and it's especially important for the outdoor industry because everything that you do is visual, whether it's catching fish or hunting or selling a product. It's all visual, that's what people see online.
Right. More so than reading the newspaper, looking at an ad on the newspaper or something like that. I know. We have a lot of guys that had shared tonight on Facebook and the different social networks. So it's just a vast amount of people out there that you have a capability of reaching, and basically, if you consider it to be advertising, it's free.
Yes, definitely.
We went from maybe 100 likes on Facebook up to almost 2,000 now in a matter of a year, and I haven't really worked hard at it at all, but a lot of it was with following some of Matt's teachings. Okay, we'll just say that. But so you've been doing this, 19 years now?
Just at 19 years. The social media aspect, obviously not that long, but going on about 9 years on social media just by using those platforms. And that's where I focus most of my business right now. Of course, I still help new businesses get started and help with the planning and stuff, but social media is where
now, do you specialize in any one, like Twitter, or let's talk about Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Let's use the three, I guess you'd call the three biggest ones. Now, I know Facebook is big for us, but I think for us, in a way, as far as followers, Instagram is bigger because we have a bigger following on Instagram, but Instagram is different. You don't get to really tell a story or post a long video. It's more for doing pictures in a way. So which one, how do you base them?
Well, here's what I say. I think that everybody needs to have a base on Facebook. You need to have your business on Facebook. You need to have a big presence there because there's so many people, 1.6 billion people. The next closest social media platform to Facebook would probably be Instagram right now, with about 400 million users. So you're looking at 25% of the total users on Facebook. If you add up Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, they don't have as many total users as Facebook has daily users.
Okay.
So I know that's a lot of different numbers, but Facebook is huge. 1 billion people using Facebook every single day.
That's all. I know that's
is a lot of customers.
That's a lot of customers.
And then the next one's probably Instagram, about 400 million. Instagram's actually owned by Facebook. So when you get into marketing and you get into advertising, they're starting to join forces, I guess, so to speak, with their advertising dollars. I can now advertise on Facebook, and it also automatically advertises on Instagram, which is great. I have that capability of doing that. I can reach out and double and triple my usage just by doing a few simple things. The way it works is Facebook primarily gives us stories. It gives us information. It gives us videos. It gives us everything.
Right. One big package in one place.
Twitter, which has about 300 to 400 million users, is short and sweet, simple post, 140 characters or less. In the outdoor industry, Twitter is important. I think Twitter is very, very important because it's simple updates that kind of paint a bigger picture of what you do. For example, if you went fishing this morning, quick, easy tweet about that. Okay,
you know that.
Yeah, so there you go.
You know we didn't catch much either.
You went fishing this morning, and maybe every time you caught a fish, which would only be a few tweets.
It was only a few.
Maybe every time you caught a fish, you could tweet out a photograph of it.
Right.
And that would paint a picture of how your day went. Beautiful day, lots of sun, beating down on you, not catching many fish. It turns into not such a great day.
Look at my arms, folks. We cooked out there today.
So that's what Twitter is all about, and Twitter can be used definitely in the outdoor industry. Instagram's the next thing because it's about photos and videos.
Right.
And it's not very large post either. It's just one simple picture. It kind of paints
You can only use
bigger.
like about a 15-second video clip, I think it is.
I think they're smaller on there.
Yeah.
I can put longer videos on Twitter, but remember it's short, and that's where you want to keep it. You just want it to be simple, quick post to kind of get that message out there to people. Those are the three big ones that, as a matter of fact, I did a little research before tonight's broadcast, and I got online to the National Outdoor Retailers page, and they said those are the top three social media platforms
for
that
the outdoor industry.
Outdoor entertainment industry needs to be using.
Right.
And
that's good to know.
And those are Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Right. So if you have, guys, the point we're trying to make to you on this stream tonight is, so if you have an outdoor-oriented page, I know some of you guys that I follow out there are guides. Some of you are catfish guys that have catfish clubs. So if you post it on one of them three platforms and you want to get more exposure like on YouTube, then you want to lead like we do. I know a lot of you guys, you go from our Facebook page to our YouTube channel. And that's what you want to do because that's what the platform is designed to do, basically in a way for different people that have a store or something like that.
And before we get too far into some of the things we're talking about, I want to make sure that this is simple. It's a lot it's a lot of work up front, but when you realize that you can use your cell phone, you can use a tablet, just anything that you have. You don't have to have professional quality pictures, you don't have to have professional quality photos. If you've got an iPhone, it's going to take some really good pictures anyway. Snap a quick picture, post it. That's the biggest rule about social media.
And be
Just
consecutive. Do it consistently. Don't expect guys to put a picture out there and try, because sometimes it gets to where you just don't think it's going to work. But don't put a picture out there or post out there and expect that people are just going to jump right on and take right a hold of what you're doing, because it takes repetitiveness to do it. It takes consistency, and after a while people will say, well, this guy's going to be around for a while, so let me go see what he's doing. And so, just like Matt was saying, just don't take one picture and put one picture a week on. Like you post constantly all the time. I do all the time. And that's how people get to know you and get to know what you're doing.
Yeah, and if you guys want to go back and watch some older videos that I've got or something that Jim has, I talk about this a little bit. I definitely talk about it in the class. It's an 80-20 rule. What that means is that 80% of the time you're posting stuff that your fans or that your customers, your likes, that they might find interesting. 20% of the time you're posting things about your product and what you're selling.
Right.
So you don't want to push your product. I mean, we all know how it is when we go into a store or we go shopping or whatever, and that salesperson's just
comes up to you and
and it's hounding us with it. Well, you don't want to do that on social media either.
Right.
80-20 rule. 80% of the time post things that are funny, that are maybe they might be similar or relevant to your business, but it's not you pushing your product.
Well, there's a way to do it,
Yes.
and we learned that in the television business a long time ago when filming shows. Don't sit there and constantly be telling people about this product. Buy this product. We're using this product. It catches fish. But inject the product just by showing some clips of it. Just by, like if you watch some of the shows, what they will do is they will take and they'll just show you a quick picture of a certain worm product or a certain hunting product. And they won't talk much about it. So a lot of people get turned off about, I guess, badgering, like a car salesman a lot of times. You let me look at the cars, and when I need help, I'll let you know. Now,
there is a side note to that if you're fishing and you're reviewing certain lures, or maybe you're a hiker or camper and you're reviewing certain products, I think that's okay, because you're not pushing your own product. You're talking about maybe other products that your customers may find useful in what they do. So that can be part of the 80%, but most of the time 20% just push your products in, let the other 80% be just something to generate users and to bring people in.
One of my other questions, Matt, was what do you think the most important thing is that a person can do in social media? What do you think the most important thing a person should be doing in social media? I think you already answered it with the posting and being consistent. Am I correct, or do you think there's another answer to that?
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say be consistent with all your posts. One thing to keep in mind: don't wait until it's perfect.
Okay.
Because it's never going to be perfect. I mean, if you've got some things going on, I just started a brand new video series, and Jim and I were talking a little bit about it earlier. It's not perfect. It's nowhere near perfect. It's got some good things in it. It's got some not so good things in it. But I'll be improving those daily.
Like anything else needs tweaking.
Yeah, so just go ahead and do it. Don't worry about it being the right way, or I'm not a professional on this yet. When you get in there, you become that professional the more you learn about
it. That's right.
Jim said something earlier about how he's come to a lot of my classes and how he learns this and learns that. The reality of it is I've been learning a lot from Jim too, and all the other people that are in my classes, because I may hear one little tip that they use in their business. I mean, obviously I'm not doing every single business. I've worked with a lot of business owners, but if I learn a little tip that I can use in my business, then that makes everything worthwhile. For example, in the outdoor entertainment industry, a person could really grab a huge following just by reviewing product.
Yeah.
Or just by showing, here's the fish that are biting today. Just little things like that.
Yep.
So that would be number one. Be consistent. Number two is a little more advanced, and maybe I'll tease you a little bit here with come to my classes and you'll hear the rest of the story. But number two is hashtags. You know, a lot of people don't know what hashtags are. They're the little pound sign that you see in front of a word. Sometimes hashtags are common, sometimes they're made up. It just all depends, but it's a great way for people to find you, especially on Twitter and Instagram.
Right.
Use hashtags that are relevant.
Right.
And I know we've talked about that a lot. So that would be number two. The third thing is study the competition. Now, I've always made it a point to not worry too much about what my competition is doing, because if I focus too much on them, then I end up...
You're not going to focus on yourself.
I'm not going to focus on myself. That's right. However, you can study some of the competition and see maybe what they're doing to attract people. For example, Kevin Van Dam, professional bass fisherman. I met him probably 20-some years ago. Great
Back
guy.
when you were just starting out.
And he was just starting out. Well, if you look at his social media presence today, you know, it's unbelievable.
That's right.
You know, he's got Facebook, he's got Twitter, he's got YouTube. I think those are the three things that he focuses on. So normal post with a lot of stuff. Then he's got short and sweet post on Twitter. You know, simple things, and then he's got videos on YouTube.
Right. So a lot of you guys out there that are bass fishermen watching us, take what Matt just said there into consideration. Take how, you know, if you're trying to make a name for yourself, you're trying to grow your YouTube channel or your Facebook page, do what Kevin Van Dam did and start off and don't quit and just be consistent. And, you know, you can grow a page and you can grow a YouTube channel and basically do about the same thing that he did.
Now, don't go and take their material. That's not what I said.
No, don't go doing that. No, don't go doing that. But I know a lot of you guys out there, especially a lot of you younger guys that might be watching us, are thriving, wanting to be bass fishing guys. You have some really good content on YouTube. You're trying to do it, and like everything else, it comes within time. But, you know, that you could use that for an example. I want to refresh here real quick, Matt. Some of you folks out there have just tuned in. We're doing a series episode tonight of Carolina Outdoor Magazine Live for Carolina Outdoor Magazine TV. I'm Jim Carr, your host, and our special guest here, Matt Rudisell from the Leadership Academy. And what we're talking about tonight, we're trying to talk to, you know, we're trying to stay around hunting and fishing and business-oriented people. What we're doing is we're trying to teach people and try to show people. Matt teaches about social media. And what we're trying to do this evening is we are trying to explain to people how they can use Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to help better themselves with their YouTube page and other platforms that they're trying to use with their website and things like that. So anybody out there watching, if you have a question that's related to what Matt's talking about, please feel free to go down there or go over to your side over there in the chat section and send us a question, and one of us will try to answer it, because Matt is really informative when it comes to social media. So if you have a social media question, just go ahead and text it to us, and we'll try to answer it for you. So that's what we're doing this evening. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Okay, where are we at?
We're talking about things that you should be doing with your business. And I want to kind of go back over just a few more that we left off. So number one, be consistent. Number two, learn about hashtags. Use them, and especially Twitter and Instagram. Number three, don't steal the competition stuff, but study them. Learn what they're doing, and just see how you can maybe, you know, emulate that in your business. Number four, be an expert. Now, how do I start out brand new? How do I automatically become an expert? You don't. It takes a little while. I mean, you've been in this business for a long time.
About 25 years.
I've been in the training business for a long time. Become an expert by trying to be the best at your field.
Right.
Everybody can try to be the best at their field. And number five, keep learning.
Right.
No matter what you do, don't stop learning. I've always said that if you get to a point to where you're not learning, or you're not passionate about what you're doing, then you probably need to do something else.
Exactly.
So those.
If you're not having, if you're not, I say if you know if you're not having fun doing it, if you start something like your YouTube page or Facebook page or whatever, and you start out having fun doing it, like you started a new series, and you start out having a real good time doing it, you're enjoying doing it. But if it doesn't become fun anymore, though, you need to find out why it's not, or you need to move on and do something else.
I mean, that's primarily why all of us are in this business anyway. I mean, you guys are in it because that's what you grew up, you know, loving to do.
Right.
So it's great that you get to do what you enjoy, but you also have to keep learning, and you have to, you know, try to build it the best you can. So those would be kind of 5 things that I think you need to do to be on the top of your game. And it's not going to get there, like you said earlier in the broadcast. It's not going to be overnight.
Not going to happen overnight.
You may reach out to 100 new customers on Facebook tonight, and you don't see the benefits of them for another 6 months to a year down the road.
Right.
You know,
I used to try to, well, I guess you'd say teach this, or I guess I used to try to explain that to a lot of our sponsors when they came on. You know, you know, part of the thing about running a TV show is you have to have sponsors, and that's what pays the bills. So, what ends up happening is you get a sponsor on, and he thinks that, well, my commercial is going to show tonight on TV. And within a week or so, the phone's going to start ringing, and I'm going to be taking orders. And that's not how it happens. And I try to tell guys that, you know, and they think that's how it works. But it's through repetitive exposure is how people get to know you and how they actually get interested in your product. If that was the case, people like Mossy Oak and Realtree, you know, when you call them up, they don't want you calling up their store, their factory, and ordering. They want when you go into a box store or you go into a sporting goods store and you go in, they want their commercials to be planted in your head, so that the first thing you reach for when you go into an outdoor store is you reach out and you go and you buy a Mossy Oak product or a Realtree product. Now, that's how it works in that business. So just don't expect it to happen overnight, because you're going to get really disappointed, and then you're going to quit it. And if you do that, then you've lost.
It's kind of like that image that people use when they say don't quit at something. I mean, the guy who's digging in the cave, he's almost there to the outside, but he turns around because he's been digging so long. He turns around and leaves. You can't do that with social media. You just have to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And once you click through, your payday may come just so quick, and it may be so big that you might not even be prepared for it. But that's hopefully what you're preparing for in the beginning. You've got to be patient. You've got to be really patient with what you do with social media. Those are probably the 5 big things that you need to do, not just with social media, but with life. I mean, you need to be consistent and see what other people are doing. Most people ask, or the big question I ask to begin with is, what's your return? You know, ROI is something that is a big deal in business. What's my return on my investment? Well, you're going to put in a lot of investment up front in time. You're going to be building these sites up with your time investment. But after that, you're going to simplify. And the way I simplify is by using things like the tools that I have now, my cell phone. I have all of my social media apps on my cell phone. I have all my emails. I have text. I have everything on my cell phone, and I can use it, you know, through the day. And it allows me to simplify all of this work. So don't worry about it taking a little bit more of your time at the beginning. It's going to make it a lot easier for you. And I use the 75-25 rule on that. I honestly feel like I end up cutting out about 75% of my day just by using things like my tablet and my cell phone. It makes it a lot easier for me. So
it's made our lives a lot easier, but it's made us really dependent on them too.
That's true.
I mean, you know,
there's obviously some good and bad in both of that.
But you know, I don't think the TV show, and I don't think our Facebook page, even I don't think our YouTube channel would be where it is now if it wasn't for the fact that we didn't have Facebook and Instagram to promote it and make it better.
Yep.
Now, you let on to me here that you also have a outdoor passion for hunting and fishing, or you have that outdoor passion in your blood. And let's talk about that a little bit. I know that was one of the questions that you had. I think you had it from me or something, but I wanted to switch it around on you.
Well, that's funny because I knew Jim was going to have some questions for me, and I just decided, well,
he's going to have questions
why don't I
for
have
me?
some questions for Jim too? I did. I grew up on a farm in Gaston County, North Carolina, and I grew up, going outdoors all the time. As a matter of fact, I had a boat before I had a car.
Oh, wow.
So I grew up fishing at Lake Wiley a lot. I fished a lot of small little ponds here and there, but primarily Lake Wiley and then down the coast. So when we get into my questions a little bit, I'm going to ask you some hot spots to go to. Unfortunately, I don't get a huge amount of time to do that, today.
Because you're really busy.
I feel like I'm really busy with the training that I do, and I travel a lot. But that is something that I can go and relax. One thing that I've gotten into lately that I really, really like, and this is going to kind of segue into another site that I want you guys to look at, or a couple more things I want you to look at, is I like outdoor activities.
Every time we talk to him, he's got a new site.
Well, you probably have heard of this one before.
Well, go ahead.
I love to kayak, and I like to hike.
Okay.
So people like to see that stuff.
Yeah, they do.
I take a picture of this waterfall, or I take a picture of I put a little GoPro on the front of my kayak going down. People like to see that. As a matter of fact, I've got some great friends in Morganton that do video production for all of their kayaking adventures.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's really, really neat.
Right.
So here's a site that you might want to start posting some things on. I want you to focus on the main ones: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. But there's another site called Yonder. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Yonder before. It's all about outdoor adventures, outdoor photography, outdoor sites. Yeah, it's just a really clean, nice site that you can go to for photographs. I mean, everything looks good on Yonder. And I will tell you that there's some that are better than others. Facebook is. I was
going to say Tumblr now.
That's right.
Tumblr is an awful good platform for pictures. I mean, it seems like Tumblr, they'll give you a full iPad picture, and it's beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful.
There are a few places out there that their photographs look a little bit better. I love YouTube, and that's about 95% of the people watching videos online are on YouTube.
They are.
However, there are other sites out there like Vimeo.
We use
quality
Vimeo.
Might be a little bit better on the videos. Here's the problem with social media: you have to go to where your customers are,
where your audience is.
So if 95% of the people are on YouTube, that's where you need to be. If 1.6 billion people are on Facebook, that's where you need to be. Yonder probably has a couple 100,000. I mean, so it's a smaller site, but it's a great place to put your photos. I'm sure there's ways to share it both places, so that might be an option. Some new things that are coming up in the video world are also things like Periscope,
right,
and Facebook Live videos.
I was gonna try to do a few live streams on Facebook when we were out there fishing today, but it just didn't work out. It was hot. It was miserable out there. The fish weren't biting, and I didn't think you guys wanted to see me out there talking on the boat, not catching any fish. But anyhow, we didn't do it.
It's a great place to start. It's a good place to kind of build up your followers, because you're reaching some of the masses. All of these sites are a little bit different. One neat thing about Twitter, I get 5 or 6 new followers a day on Twitter. Have no idea how that happens, but it just seems like, if
I'm the same with Instagram. Anywhere from 3 to 10 a day on Instagram, and it's just like, if you're in, and I guess it could be if you're a photographer. I'm just saying, because I'm in the outdoor business, I'm primarily getting guys out there that like to hunt and fish, in that type of outdoor-oriented thing on Instagram. So, like I say, I don't know how they find you. I guess they just looking for hunting and fishing things that interest them, and your name pops up.
So that kind of will take us to, I guess, the final point on the social media aspect. What do you need to do now? Here's the number one tip of things that you need to do right now. If you're on Facebook, go into the search, and first of all, search for Carolina Outdoor Magazine TV.
Right.
TV magazine.
Carolina Outdoor Magazine. One day you're gonna get it. Carolina.
I'm gonna get it right.
Carolina Facebook / Carolina Outdoor Magazine TV.
So search for that, like it. Also go to Coach Rudisell. You'll find the Leadership Academy.
Yep.
Search for that and like it. But put in your interest in the search bar. If your interest is completely hunting, put it in, and you'll find all these sites.
You will.
That
It'll
deal
overwhelm
with that.
you.
Follow a few of them on Facebook. You would like them, their business sites, and kind of see what they're doing. On Twitter, do the same thing in the search bar. Put the stuff in at the top and follow a few people. Do the same thing with Instagram. Any of the sites that you go to, make sure in the search bar that's one of the first things you do. Find similar places, look what they're doing, and then kind of make it similar to that.
And guys, we're not mainly just kind of focusing on the outdoor business. I mean, I know some of you folks out there from Matt's past classes are probably watching us tonight, or you will in the replay. But if you have any kind of a business, you want to integrate social media into that business. It will help your business substantially. It really will.
Yeah, and I think that you just have to do it. Kind of like Nike.
Right.
Just do it, and don't. Like I said from the beginning, don't worry about it being perfect.
I want to bring up an example, and I guess it's okay if we can't talk about this. That's fine. But Matt has started a new series on your YouTube channel. It's called 5. So every night, and I think you can go #5, because you've got #5.
The number 5.
The number 5.
IVE.
Okay.
So the number 5 IVE, you can probably find it that way.
Okay, and go there, and you'll see Matt's post, and he tries to do one every evening at 5 o'clock. And they're just short posts, but they're very informative. Now, you had talked about one person on there, Justin Timberlake.
Yes.
Now, this is a really good example of not quitting. You just hit quit there, Mr. Producer. You can just hit quit on that, and it'll go away. You got a screen up right there. Just hit quit. Right on the mouse right there. But you can. This is a really good story that Matt's going to tell you about, and a lot of people may not know this about Justin Timberlake, and this is what we're trying to stress about to folks out there, you guys watching. Don't quit. If you get discouraged with the YouTube channel, don't quit. If you get discouraged with your Facebook page, don't quit. So go ahead and tell us that story there, Matt.
Well, I was just looking it up just to make sure.
Okay.
It is on my Facebook page, so if you want to go, I think I posted it Monday afternoon. So if you want to go back and look, you'll find it on my business page, the Leadership Academy. And basically the comment was that, number one, he was getting this innovator award, and he never felt like he was an innovator. He just didn't quit. He just kept going, and he stayed strong when adversity kind of set with him as he was younger. And I thought it was really inspiring because he said that when he was growing up, he was more of an artist. He was creative, and a lot of people said that he was strange and weird, and maybe they bullied him a little bit with their words. But what he ended up doing was he just kept going and going and going. And now you see kind of where Justin Timberlake is today.
Right.
I mean, he's not only a great musician, but he's also an actor. He's just a great all-around person. And I feel like had he stopped when things got a little tough,
then he wouldn't be where he was.
Yeah.
Right. So that just, don't quit. Just keep on trucking.
So back to the video series. It's brand new. The whole purpose of that is just to get 5 questions every night, and I need your help in promoting it and sending it out to all your friends. I mean, everybody that's watching tonight, make sure you go find it. If you have trouble, go to Coach Rudisell on Facebook and you'll see it. But
Or the Leadership Academy.
yeah, and you might have to search for Coach Rudisell on there. It might be a little easier to find. It's facebook.com/Coach Rudisell, RUDISILL. But just like this, and if you have questions, we'll get you in the right place.
Right.
But the neat thing about it is, in the classes that I teach, I try to give as much information as I can. And in this series, I'm sticking to 5 questions. And I'm going to be able to give you, I'm going a little more in depth on each one of the 5. So the first night we talked about purging some things out of your life that might need to be done. And I felt like that was pretty good. Last night was a social media overview. So a little bit about what we're doing tonight. But tonight I'm going to focus more on the visual aspect of social media. So tonight's the night that it didn't make it at 5 o'clock. But I did a short Facebook Live video at 5. And I'll be putting this on later this evening. We'll just share it from this page over there.
Yeah, you'll be able to watch the after show here when YouTube processes it.
Yeah, so I hope to be able to, get your questions and continue it. I mean, I think it'll be a great thing for the people out there who have questions about, how do I start a business? How do I set up my social media? What do I do first in this scenario? So there's a lot of different things you can ask.
We're going to try to have Matt on, time permitting, and if things work on, we're going to try to maybe do this series on a monthly basis where we'll have him come in and maybe talk a little bit about social media. And then when some of you guys get some questions together and you get more comfortable, you can ask Matt some questions. He'll steer you in the right direction, that's for sure. Anybody local that wants to go to his classes, they're at CBCC. He's off right now until the fall.
That's right.
With summer break. But, if you're a local person and you would like to take up Matt's classes come this fall, go to the Leadership Academy page and follow his page, and he posts all the upcoming events that he has in all the counties. He goes to all the counties around in North Carolina. So,
and I think a lot of them are already up for the fall. So you'll be able to see what I've got coming up in the fall. Around this area, I'm at Western Piedmont in Morganton, Catawba Valley in Hickory and Taylorsville, Gaston, which is Lincoln and Gaston counties, Mitchell, which is Statesville and Mooresville, Wilkes County, Wilkes Community, which is actually 3 different counties: Ashe, Allegheny, and Wilkes. And then I teach a little bit down east. I teach in Rocky Mount and Tarboro, so you may have some listeners from that area as well. And then sometimes I've been known to travel all the way to the coast, and I may teach in Manio. I may teach down near Beaufort. So just a lot of different places across the state.
You stay busy in the fall, through the fall. I don't know where you find time for it all, but maybe it's one of them.
It's that cell phone. That's what I use. It's
that
right
helps a bunch. Maybe
maybe
that's one of them purge things too. But what else do we need to cover tonight? Are we, we've covered a lot this evening. You say you have some questions for me. I guess if you do, you might as well ask them. I don't know if you were.
I've got a few questions, and some of these I can answer myself.
Okay.
I'm just looking over them. My first one was, who do I need to contact to get into the outdoor entertainment industry? And I realized that was you.
Okay. Well, you got that one right.
I got that one. What do I want to accomplish in the next 5 years to be more like you? So that was number 2.
That'll work.
What's the most important thing to remember when filming live video? Just look and see what Jim does, and there you go.
Well, I don't know about that.
But I got 2 more. And the fourth one is, what kind of exciting, when I go hiking or camping or fishing, there's always something off the hook that happens. It's just something strange
You mean
that
like a
happens.
blooper or- yeah.
What's the most exciting story
I
that you
never
can
got
tell
a chance
us on
to think
camera?
about that. All right. Well, this probably ain't the most exciting one, but if you have to know, I guess I'll tell it to you. But we, back here a few years ago, and maybe it wasn't funny, the cameraman thought it was hilarious. The guide I was with, he thought it was even more hilarious. But what had happened is we were out trout fishing down in Charleston, in the Intercoastal Waterway, and JR had me up on front of the boat. And what we were doing is we were fishing the rice paddies coming down the side, and we were about 25, 30 feet, okay, from the rice paddies. And what we would do is we would pick up the anchor and we'd fish an area, and then after 5 or 10 minutes, we just, instead of starting the boat motor up, we just pick up the anchor and just drift back another casting distance, put the anchor back out. Well, on a flats boat, the point comes to like this table up in the front, okay? And my feet were planted right here. And usually when the anchor, when you let it out, and it wasn't throwing it, I was just letting it back out. And I had a brand nice new pair of Bull sunglasses on, and thought I was really cool out there on the boat. But anyways, I let the anchor out, and usually it'll drag and bump and it'll slowly stop the boat. Well, this last time I let the anchor out, and it dragged, and finally it found the only rock, the only log, I don't know what it found that wouldn't give. And when it stopped the boat, I was like right here 1 minute, and the next minute it just like, picture just pulling the carpet out from underneath my feet. The boat just went that way, and I just went boom. There was none of this stuff at all. All I did was the boat just went this way, just like this, and I just dropped. Mm-hmm. Well, anyways, it about threw the cameraman and JR out of the boat, but they survived. I didn't survive so well. The boat was securely anchored, and I was headed out with the tide going out in the ocean, and they had to unanchor it and come rescue me. But needless to say, that did make it on television. Thanks to my cameraman. But
and I can almost guarantee you that, believe it or not, those are the things that people want to see.
People enjoy seeing things happen to us. Okay, they do. But it's part of life. It's part of. Yeah. A lot of times we're out filming, and we get to come in here and we get to edit this stuff and put it the way we want to. This is live. We don't get to edit this, but so I get to edit that stuff out. So there's a lot of stuff that people don't see, but unless you're making up a blooper reel or something. But a lot of this stuff goes on. I mean, you have a good time out there doing outdoor television. There's work involved in it, but you also have a good time doing it. You meet really cool people. I've met so many of these guys that are out there. I know them on a first name basis. These guys hunting and fishing. I mean, personalities. You just meet some really neat people out there in the outdoor industries, huh? Ted Nugent and a lot of them. So I mean, race car drivers. I never was into race car driving much, but that's something right there that you have to do to change. I was never into football much, but we started having football players, and we started having race car drivers and stuff on the show. So I had to kind of get used to knowing what these guys were doing. Mm-hmm. We've had a NASCAR legend, Red Farmer, on the show, and he was one of the first guys that ever raced NASCAR back when they raced on a dirt track, and Bobby Allison when they were all kids. Mm-hmm. And he was a real hoot having on the show. So for me, that's where my excitement and enjoyment comes, doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, and I think just mix it up a little bit. I mean, that's perfect for any type of live entertainment. I mean, it can't be the same stuff over and over. You got to do something a little bit different.
Well, that's it. I mean, we can do fishing, every week, but I thought it would be nice to have you here to explain to people it's not just YouTube, and it's not just the live TV show. It's how did we get there, and how do we maintain our audience. And a big part of us maintaining our audience doesn't only come from broadcast TV now. There's a guy that is on YouTube now, guys, so listen to this. His name is Blair Wiggins, and I hope Blair don't mind me mentioning his name. It's just going to be a little plug for him on addictive fishing. And he had mentioned one day on one of his live streams where he had as many people following him and watching him on YouTube as he had audience watching his show. So, and that's phenomenal because, he's up somewhere around, gosh, I think the last time I saw was like 23,000 subscribers. Now, that's not a lot compared to some people on YouTube, but it's a lot.
It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
It's 23,000 customers that you may not have
Right.
had,
And,
before.
for him to make a statement that, that his statistics showed that they were doing almost as equally as well. I think I've got the figures right, but he was doing almost as equally as well on his YouTube live streams and his YouTube shows as he was on his broadcast show. And that's all because of social media. You know?
I think social media was definitely a gift when it first came out. I think now it's just getting better and better, and it's just a different tool that we use to advertise our business. I mean, we've used tools in our business before, such as fax machines and telephones. Now we use social media.
That's right.
And it's just learning how to do something a little bit different. Don't be scared of it. Just kind of get in and learn it and do it. It's really simple. Just post things that you enjoy, and hopefully you'll get followers that enjoy it as well.
That's right. Well, Matt, we've got about 50 minutes here on the clock already in the live stream.
Wow.
We just went on and on and on. So I think we go ahead and close it out. We're going to try, if you want to see some more, we're going to try maybe once a month if I can get Matt back in here to do some more. Make sure you follow him on his Facebook page. And we're going to put all that in the bottom here underneath the information section here as soon as this thing gets uploaded to YouTube. But, follow him. Go to check out what Matt has to talk about. Follow his nightly live stream feed that he has on Facebook. I know you'll enjoy it. I know you'll learn some stuff. So I want to thank.
You do.
Well, I did. And I know Debbie did. So I want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight watching the show. It was a great show. I think, I hope we were able to tell you a lot of things about social media. And it just was, once again, fun bringing these shows to you. So, Matt, appreciate you being here tonight. And everybody out there, thanks for tuning in this evening. Next week, I guess we're going to do a live stream probably on crappie fishing and the how-tos, and don't do what Jim Carr does to go crappie fishing, and you might catch some fish. So we're going to try doing that next week. We want to thank you for tuning in to tonight's show. We really appreciate you following us. We really appreciate you subscribing to us and tagging along with us on our shows. We'll catch you somewhere next week in the great outdoors when we do this all over again. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next week someplace, somewhere.
Thank you.
Just exit it out. We'll be done in a minute, folks.